manner, perhaps. And of course, the Prime Minister, he had his speech to the nation, his address to the nation yesterday, and he did seem a bit sad. And according, I quote his words, that I am a bit sad, but I must go for the decision. I must go abide by the decision given by the Supreme Court of Pakistan. Obviously, it's called Supreme Court of Pakistan for a reason, that the verdict has to be followed, and it is being followed in the National Assembly. The procession did start in the National Assembly at 10:30 a.m. and obviously there was discussion on the foreign conspiracy which has been hatched against the government of PTI, but then again we saw a ruckus from the opposition side, but then the opposition gave a response to that part as well, that it's only and only the only agenda item which is to be discussed today, which is to be held today, is the no confidence voting, and that is a must. Otherwise it might be a contempt of court, because it has to be held in today's date, according to the small verdict, the short session, the short form of the verdict which has been given by the Supreme Court of Pakistan, that in today's date it has to be held, the voting needs to be held today, and whoever is going to be the Prime Minister, that is also going to be decided in today's time. It's quite an important day today, because overall we did see in the last the week which just passed by, we saw constitutional crisis, we saw debates going on in the Supreme Court of Pakistan, we saw debates going on in all the TV channels, both national and international, and obviously there was quite a confusion in the state of mind as to what is right and what is wrong, and finally we did see the verdict by the Supreme Court, which was in a way neutral, but it did not address certain areas, according to the Prime Minister, that the foreign interference should have been looked into by the Supreme Court of Pakistan, and obviously the Prime Minister said that that part was ignored by the Supreme Court, and this is something very serious and that should have been looked into, because obviously we know how the governments are formed, how the governments go, but then again we need to have concrete evidence, and perhaps according to the Constitution, the Chief of Army Staff needs to give a statement, an official statement in this regard, that there is a threat to the national security of the country. Otherwise that can set a wrong precedent which can be misused in the future as well, in the times to come, in the governments to come, in the years to come perhaps. So naturally the Supreme Court had to go for something neutral, and the Supreme Court had to keep the Constitution alive, because the Supreme Court had to take the country out of that constitutional crisis that we were witnessing on our television screens, in the overall environment, in our homes, in the marketplaces, in the malls, everywhere. Only one discussion and one debate was being held, that what is going to be the future of the government, what is going to be the future of the party, and what exactly is going on in the Supreme Court of Pakistan. Naturally, it was being covered all over, and finally the verdict came, and it reversed everything. We went back to square one, and today that session has started. Obviously, according to the Constitution, it has the no confidence motion after it is passed. It has a period of 7 to 14 days, and today that period is going to be over, and this is the final and the last day today where the voting has to take place, and it is a must for all the people to be present in the National Assembly so that they can cast their votes, so that they can decide for themselves what the future government is going to look like, what is the skeleton of the future government going to be like. This is going to be decided today and in today's date. This was according to the verdict of the Pakistan Supreme Court. Obviously, we do see a political instability in Pakistan. We do see a shaken political structure in Pakistan. We do see the shaken confidence of the foreign investors. We do see a shaken stock market. We do see the economy of the Pakistan that is obviously shaken up. But obviously it's going to take time in order to stabilize everything. Whichever government comes into power, it will take its time, because naturally these things take their due time. They go into their own due course of action, and they stabilize with the passage of time. It's not a one-day thing. It's not like a night will pass and everything is going to be stabilized. Naturally, prices are going to go up, inflation is going to go up. But then again, the tall claims given by the opposition parties that they perhaps can fix everything in one night may not seem true at this point of time, because naturally it's a mammoth task setting everything in a stable condition, and obviously the whole nation is looking at their TV screens right now, because they're looking forward to what's going to happen, because even today there seems to be a bit of uncertainty involved, because at the time when it was adjourned, the session, the time was given of 12:30, and it has still not started yet. But we must tell you the overall background of what happened last Sunday, that the Deputy Speaker National Assembly came in, and under Article 5, he cancelled the vote of no confidence, that it will not take place, and obviously the Prime Minister sent an advice to the President to dissolve the assemblies, and as a result we saw that the assemblies were dissolved, and again there was no head of state, no nothing for a couple of days, and of course the court stepped in, and there were discussions of this being unconstitutional, that the Deputy Speaker did not have a right to do this. Now, obviously, we have guests with us on telephone lines and on Skype. We have Dr. Nazir Mahmood and we have Rana Javed Iqbal, who's a political analyst and columnist, respectively. Rana Javed Iqbal, sir, welcome to PTV World. Seems to be a problem. We can't connect to Rana Javed Iqbal Saab. Dr. Nazir Mahmood Saab, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Right, there seems to be an issue, but we are going to get in touch with our guests as soon as we can. Obviously, this is a very important day that we are watching in the history of Pakistan. The National Assembly had to resume its session at 12:30 p.m. for the voting of no confidence motion, and it has still not resumed. We did have very fruitful discussions with some of our guest speakers. And right now we have with us on the telephone line Rana Javed Iqbal Saab. Rana Saab, are you there with us?
I can hear you.
Right, wonderful. Rana Saab, well, first of all, welcome to PTV World. Now, we are watching this very historic day today. We're witnessing history being made today. The vote of no confidence has to take place today, and but we're watching that it is being delayed. Now, first of all, how are you watching the whole procession? How do you see this?
I think let's see the things in a very broader picture. And the broader picture is that Pakistan's foreign policy is at the heart of the entire controversy and this political tension. When we look at the constitutional game, it is on the opposition side. Obviously, it was a kind of a partial, limited subversion of the constitution on the part of the Deputy Speaker of the lower house of the parliament. But we have to see a bigger picture. There is a genuine, a real national security threat in this country. The regimes have been changed over the course of the decades, time and again, after being backed by the US. It is not for the first time that it is happening now here in Pakistan. It has been happening in most parts of the world. The point is that for the first time, there is a resistance coming from a government. This is unprecedented. Even Zulfikar Ali Bhutto failed to put up resistance at a scale where Prime Minister Imran Khan has managed to put